The medical bay doors slid open with their usual pneumatic hiss, but Dr. Zelthar stopped at the threshold. His 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a Vexian expression of profound confusion. 2 creatures sat before Anna's quarters. They were massive, easily 300 pounds each, with fur that rippled like liquid shadow and eyes that glowed with an inner amber light. The Terran had called them cats when she'd first brought them aboard the Celestial Harmony, though Zelthar had learned that this name was laughably inadequate for what they actually were. "Please," Zelthar said, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard. "I must examine the human. Her fever has reached dangerous levels." The larger of the 2 creatures, the one Anna called Shadow, lifted his massive head. A low rumble emanated from deep within his chest, a sound that made the deck plates vibrate beneath Zelthar's feet. "I mean her no harm," the doctor insisted, holding up his medical scanner. "I am a healer." Shadow's lips curled back, revealing teeth designed for rending flesh. His companion, Storm, rose to her feet and positioned herself directly in front of the door panel. Zelthar's communication implant chimed. A weak voice came through. "Shadow and Storm, let him in." The 2 creatures exchanged a glance that seemed to carry an entire conversation. Slowly, reluctantly, they moved aside, but only just enough to create a narrow gap between them. Zelthar would have to pass within inches of their fangs. He steeled himself and squeezed through, acutely aware of hot breath on his carapace. Inside, Anna lay on her bunk, her pale skin flushed with fever. She looked fragile in a way that contradicted everything Zelthar knew about humans. These were the species that had turned death worlds into vacation destinations, who had looked at the galaxy's apex predators and said, "Hold my beer." Yet here was Anna, brought low by microscopic invaders her own immune system couldn't quite defeat. "Anna," Zelthar said softly, approaching with his scanner active, "your temperature is 40 degrees. For a human, this is critical. You need to come to the main medical bay where I have proper equipment." "Can't," Anna whispered, her eyes glassy. "Shadow and Storm won't let anyone take me anywhere. They think I'm dying. Are they usually this protective?" A weak smile crossed Anna's face. "You don't understand. On Earth, when we rescued them, they were cubs. Barely weaned. Poachers had killed their mother. Jack and we raised them." "The security officer," Zelthar said, remembering the other human who had come aboard with Anna. "Where is he?" "Engine room. There was an emergency with the quantum drive." Anna coughed, a wet, painful sound. "Shadow and Storm, they bonded with us. We're their pride now. And when pride members are sick," the door chimed. Shadow's growl intensified into something that made Zelthar's survival instincts scream. "It's probably Jack," Anna managed. "Shadow." "Storm!" a male voice called from outside. "Stand down, guys." "It's me." The 2 predators visibly relaxed. Their body language shifted from guardian at the gates of hell to something that might charitably be called slightly less likely to commit murder. The door opened, and Jack stepped through. He was larger than Anna, with the scarred hands of someone who worked with machinery, but his eyes went soft when he saw the 2 massive felines. "Hey, babies," he said, dropping to one knee. Both creatures immediately pressed against him, making sounds that seemed impossible from animals that had just been threatening to tear Zelthar apart. I know she's sick, but we have to let the doctor help her." Jack looked up at Zelthar. "Sorry about this, Doc. They get intense when one of us is vulnerable. I am beginning to understand why your species has such a peculiar reputation," Zelthar said dryly. "You befriend predators and then act surprised when they behave like predators." "They're not predators," Jack said, scratching behind Storm's ears. "They're family," Anna coughed again. "Jack, I need to go to medical bay. Tell them." Jack moved to Anna's bedside and helped her sit up. Then he turned to Shadow and Storm. "Listen up. Anna needs to go with the doctor. You're going to escort us there, and you're going to guard her room. Nobody gets in unless I say so, or unless they're wearing a medical uniform. Understand?" Shadow's ears twitched. Storm's tail swished once. "I don't think they," Zelthar began. Both creatures moved to flank Anna's bunk. They positioned themselves in a way that would allow her to be carried between them, creating a living corridor of fur and fang. "They understand," Jack said, carefully lifting Anna into his arms. "They always understand." The procession through the ship's corridors was unlike anything Zelthar had witnessed in his 3 decades of space medicine. Crew members from a dozen species pressed themselves against walls as the group passed. Shadow and Storm walked in perfect synchronization, their eyes scanning every doorway, every intersection. When a Krillian engineer got too close, Storm simply positioned herself between the engineer and Anna, and the engineer suddenly remembered urgent business elsewhere. In the medical bay, Jack laid Anna on the diagnostic table. Shadow and Storm immediately took up positions at the foot of the bed. "I'll need to administer treatments," Zelthar said. "Intravenous antibiotics, fever reducers, possibly." "They'll let you," Jack assured him. "Won't you guys?" Storm's tail twitched again. Shadow's rumble had changed frequency. Less threat, more inquiry. "Remarkable," Zelthar murmured, beginning his work. "In all my years, I've never seen—" "That's humans for you, Doc," Jack said, stroking Anna's fever-damp hair. "We don't just survive harsh worlds. We make friends with the things that should eat us, and they love us back." Shadow rested his massive head on the edge of Anna's bed, amber eyes never leaving her face. Storm lay down beside him, forming an impenetrable wall of loyalty and teeth. Zelthar worked through the night, and the predators never moved. They didn't sleep. They simply watched, waited, guarded. By morning, Anna's fever had broken. She woke to find Shadow and Storm pressed against her bed, Jack asleep in a chair nearby, and Dr. Zelthar updating her chart. "Your guardians never left," the doctor said quietly. "Now I understand what they mean when they say humans are different. You don't conquer death worlds through strength alone. You do it by making death itself love you." Anna's hand found Shadow's ear, scratching the spot that made his purr shake the medical equipment. "They're good boys," she whispered. And somewhere in the quantum foam of space, the galaxy made a note. Humans were dangerous not because they were strong, but because they made the strong want to protect them. That was so much worse.